Hey everybody. So we're gonna go switch some gears here, obviously. That's why you guys have a look in the background here. So obviously I've got a bunch of stills, but not a bunch of video on the shop. Now, if you watch any of the garden stuff, you've probably seen the shop in the background. So we're gonna do this as the shop. We'll do this as the introduction, and there'll be a couple other videos coming up later, kind of where we're at now and what the plan is, kind of, sorta. So anyways, in this picture you can see there's a bunch of stakes out, and when we were looking at building this, because this is a very huge endeavor, like financially, and we're gonna one and done. You can't just pick this thing up and slide it around, move it anywhere, blah blah blah. So anyways, with the offsets and stuff, dealing with the county on property, or sorry, not property, but the offsets off the road and the side property offsets, we had to ask for some permission in order to get it closer to the road than what they want to see. Only for the simple fact is, you can see here, the greenhouse is here and our water well is like right here. So we can't go back into the property any farther, and we can't go to the other side of the property because we've got gas line and power, and everything's kind of all buried and right in the way. So we just opted to do it this way. And then not only that, is that this view here is to the north, and this view here where that power pole is to the west. So we always get our weather that comes this way, and we wanted to try and build a windbreak, end shop and all that kind of fun stuff all in one. So that being said, so anyways, it was all staked out. I had to stake it out for the county. They come, they looked, they measured. I give them all the dimensions. I had to do this all up on engineering paper. Anyways, as you can see, so originally had it set up, I was going to put two 16 by 16 doors in the front of it, and then we ended up changing our mind, because when you have that center pillar between the two doors, you have a lot of wasted space in there. So by us going to a 24-foot door that left us, like, I think it was about 10 feet or something like that, on the one side for, we'll call it a mezzanine, if you even do it, or just strictly for my fab table and stuff like that at a future or later date, I guess. But that'll all come, because it's like I got to go back to work and make a whole bunch more money to finish it. So anyways, this is kind of gives you an idea. I put the truck in there, and then my pickup and the wife's car in there, just to kind of give you an idea, and that was with the big door. So like I say, we're just laying it out and we're moving it around, just trying to get it figured where we want and make sure we were going to be happy with it. So lo and behold, after all the permits, all the stuff, the hoops and shit we had to jump through, it wasn't real bad, but it ended up costing us a little bit more money than we were anticipating. And I mean, I don't mean by a whole bunch. I think the permit was like $1,500, and that was only for the building permit. And then we had to have a permit from the county, which was like $300 and that kind of thing. So it wasn't crazy. So anyways, I think this is about 2 days after they delivered all the product. So this is the building crew. So now, that being said, this is a post frame. We didn't do a foundation, and like in the videos, or sorry, just previously, you've seen where the truck and the car and the pickup were kind of in the grass. We just left it at that, because this whole ground all has a natural slope to this side. So this actually has a natural little swale in here in the grass, and so on and so forth. So we're just trying to make sure that we can keep our water shedding to where we want it to shed, and then not have issues at a later date with it trying to infiltrate in the shop and that kind of thing. So this was quite a few days into it, actually, because we had all the posts drilled and all put in. I helped them guys who took the little tractor while they were augering and that kind of stuff, just to help move the clay and keep it all clean, because they showed up, it was nice, and then it started to get cold. So these poor guys. Anyways, so here we are, we're putting the trusses on. Yeah, it was quite a bit of work. These guys, they kind of told me, the crew, they should be, 5-ish days to build this. Well, it ended up being like 2 weeks because they didn't inform me that they don't work weekends, and I took a week off of work so I could be here to watch this and to make sure that, you know, I'm pretty anal about how shit gets built. So I just wanted to make sure that I was here for it. So I think that was the last truss going up there. Great crew. The boys were really great, super friendly. So we made sure, you know, as you can see, now it's starting to turn because we're looking at, this is like, the first week of November, I think it was, when we kind of got to this point. Anyways, they're starting to do all the trim work and getting ready for the tin. The windows are in, man door, that kind of thing. And then, so, I mean, the whole, why we're doing this is because I would like to finish this maybe one day. There'll be no running water or sewer or nothing like that. I don't need it because we're close enough to the house and then the garage where we're in right now. And I've got a full bathroom in here, so I'm not going to go that extra mile to have that there when I don't really need it. And so anyways, they plywooded this complete wall and then screwed the shit out of it. I am going to go in there and actually nail it with some ring nails. Only for the simple fact is that they put the plywood in there for a stiffener for the wall because this big door is so big. These walls are 18 feet high, and then the main door is 24 wide by 16 high. So there's a lot of structure that's got to go in there to help that because it is a big door. It takes a lot of that wall. And we have to have engineer drawings done. So here we're doing the tin on the outside. Like I say, the boys worked really good. They give her shit. They did a really good job. You know, it's always the same. There's always a thing here gets missed or a thing there gets missed. And it's unfortunate, but it's, I mean, it happens. Not everybody can be looking at every little aspect of it. So here we are. The boys are doing some cross bracing and stuff. We had some snow that day, so they wanted to stay off of the roof because, I mean, steel and snow and boots, yeah, it gets really slippery. So they were tied off and all that kind of fun stuff, but still, it's, and like I say, you can see all the plywood's in now. They're just doing the upper piece of the plywood here. They'll finish that stiffener. And like I say, just because of the size of it, it had to be engineered. So there we are. That's doors on. They're gone. You can still see the tracks. So I mean, they're just gone. So, you know, with these guys, you have to, part of the contract is they don't do any cleanup, so we do the cleanup. So we did pick a lot of screws and nails and that kind of fun stuff over and over again and over again and over again. But anyways, here's me. I got everything fired up and I'm putting it all away in here. We know how the sun beats the shit out of everything and the wind. I mean, we get wind, and we used to have just tarps on our trailers, but that wind gets whipping and it starts rubbing the paint off of the powder coat on the corners and that kind of thing. So it was a big, like I say, big investment for the future. Maybe me being able to retire and build some cars. Maybe we're gonna try. We'll see. Anyways, it was just a kind of the fitment here, what we were doing. As you can see, like I say, there's snow. So I put, this is a real good geotextile cloth that we use for civil works and oil field work. So it's got a structure. Once you put material on top of it, it'll be almost add like another foot to the substructure, like for the floating mat, you might call it, right? So anyways, yeah, we're just kind of loading everything up and getting things organized. Like I say, this was a year and a half ago now. So we're kind of just not quite July here of 26. So we did this, not the November before, but the November prior to that. So that's the topsoil. So what I did, like after when the spring come, is I rented a little mini excavator and I went inside the building because it was all grass and I chopped it, right? I chopped it all, peeled it, and then this is right across the road from us. I hauled it to my neighbors because they got 7 acres and I just needed somewhere to store it. So I hauled a lot of loads, like little dump trailer loads. And then here, so there's the mini. So we did the inside the shop. We've got all the cloth in. We've got the access that'll be going into the shop. So we peeled it all. We only took the topsoil. We left the clay. And then same thing too, I'll show you, we put the cloth. But so around the outside of the shop, and it's not done yet, you can still see grass, but we chopped it and then I rotor-tillered it all, peeled it all open in order to save it for finishing. So here's the cloth going down. We're getting ready for gravel. I had to trench my power in back in. We moved the pond, so I had to get conduit in here and that kind of fun stuff. There's a tractor with the rototiller. So once it was all peeled around the outside, you can see all the rock, because all these posts are put in a washed rock, like a fractured rock, because it kind of locks them in, keeps the moisture away from the posts, like the fine dirts, and because you're all pressure treated bottoms in these posts. But this is 16 inches, and it wasn't even in the drawings, but what I did was, because this is all pressure treated lumber, I put Tyvek all the way around that just to kind of help protect that board. And then we're going to be putting the 2-inch thick rigid insulation around the bottom. So here you can see all the pressure treated board, and we're just kind of getting everything all where we needed to get it all flat and get it ready for the insulation. Like I say, this is a engineered spec build. More of the wood there, other side, have another look. So here's the rigid insulation. What that does is keep that frost from coming down and then grabbing hold of the posts and wanting to lift them. So we went another step again. We actually put 6 mil poly, and then we tuck taped it all. So we sealed all of that outside perimeter, which is, this was 32 inches. It wasn't quite 36. That's all they called for, because the other piece of this 4x8 sheet actually goes inside between the posts. Just so that we have that insulation on the boundary outside perimeter of the concrete. So there you can see it, like I say, just chugging along, trying to get it all sealed up. And then this is the gravel start on the inside. So like I say, I put the cloth in, we brought it all up, and then here's all the insulation. So you can see the cloth comes right up to the height of what the insulation is. So when we go to pour concrete, actually have to drill 2 5/8 rebar through all these posts, and that'll be our outside slab thickener footing, I guess we'll call it. So same thing there, you can see how the gravel's in. So I think we hauled like 13 loads or 14 loads of 3/4 inch spec crush for this. And then the same thing too, I went one over, come right around the inside of the post, because the inside of this floor will be slab heat. So it'll be gravel, plastic, 2-inch rigid insulation, rebar, and then the concrete. So I'm going the extra mile with this stuff. I'm gonna do this once. So then that being said here, so we're all backfilled, we put all the clay in, and then I put the cloth, and then I just sprinkled some drain rock around it. I made sure that the water, whatever come up against the building, would fall into the rock and then drain out the 3 corners. This corner, this one, and then the other one as well. Just to make sure that it would survive for the first year, because I didn't want to try and finish it. Maybe, you know, in hindsight, after I put all the board up and stuff, maybe I should have just put crush in it and been done with it, and then just added what I needed to, because some places it might have settled maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches in places, but for the most part it was actually pretty decent. And like I say, it was just trying to keep that, because if you go and push dirt all up against her and that rain hits it, it splashes all that dirt. And I didn't want to have to keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, right? So it's just me just overthinking shit half the time. So, but anyways, yeah, so I put a 2x4 border all the way around. I put the proper slope so it'll drain, like I say, and then I put borders all the way in between the topsoil and the gravel, especially where it was thicker. Eventually that would, it will probably rot in 10 years, but I really don't care. It can rot, because then everything will be established. Like I say, and we got some topsoil. This was part of that windrow that I had left around the outside, and yeah, and just keep on graveling, and yeah, just all that kind of fun stuff here. We're trying to get through some of this here. You can kind of see a little bit better view here down that east or west side, and then like I say, this was a low point drain too, so it definitely it works really well. And then the way I got my water, it all swales down through here, comes out on the gravel, as you can see here. So I got this all perfect, and it comes out, I mean, short of it washing a little bit of topsoil out on the gravel, which kind of sucked, but, ooh, fence. Oh, hold that thought. I don't know why the hell that's in there, but anyways, not supposed to be there. Damn you. So here's a prime example. So no sooner than we were done with putting the topsoil, I mean, I give her because I could see, I was watching the weather and you could see the rain was coming, and it was a good time to see exactly where the water's all moving and coming from. So I mean, like, it just finished raining, so all this water is all trucking down the bottom of the topsoil, and it's all heading towards the main road here. So like I say, it's a good indicator of where your water, where your slope, and how everything else is going. I did extend that because it was actually starting to wash there a little bit. And all these stakes are, that's how far the topsoil is going to come out, all the way to the here, right? It all comes way out. So that's good. I got a pretty good topsoil pile that we're going to grind up and move out into that area whenever, because right now it's doing the same thing outside. I was just really kept my fingers crossed that it was not going to, but yeah, no, it did. So like I say, this is all inverted, so it grabs the water, collects it, and this is the way it drains through our yard. This is all grass, is all swaled all the way out to the other side. It just, yeah, it works really well. Works really, really well. And then I just added a little bit of gravel to it here just a few days ago. So like I say, this is all last spring, not this spring. But anyways, yeah, so we're gonna have a few more videos, yeah, to get some electrical stuff and that kind of crap. But anyways, yeah, put it all together, dig it all up, right? Yeah, thought I had a deal with these guys. They were actually gonna come and directional drill my power into my pole, and they ghosted me. So I was pissed because I didn't want to put this scar across my yard because it is very nice. But anyways, we'll just leave it at that for now. Like I say, we got a couple other videos coming out. If you guys got any questions, by all means. Been a long time coming. My wife just laughed at me. She goes, you could have had this a couple times already, but you just like to spend money. No, we got a race car. We don't spend money. But anyways, cheers everybody. Hope you like it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Like I say, tell me I'm a retard or something like that. I mean, I just keep going and going and going. Okay, cheers.